Hello everyone and welcome to Tapedeck Studio Podcast. Happy New Year everybody, welcome to 2020. I hope we all had a good new year and all the ambitions for this year will be just as high as they were for last year. Sadly, we're going to come to the end of this great new season that we've started, second season here at Tapedeck Studio Podcast, with the last show today. I can't believe how fast it's gone. We started the second season back in September last year, and now we're finishing the new season here now in the new year. We've had some incredible guests over the last 4 months of the show and some great music as well. So in this week's show, we're going to be looking back to some of the best bits of the guests, some of the funny bits, the funny stories that we've had. Plus, we're going to have some new music as well in the show as well. But kicking off today's last show, this is Tapedeck 45 with their latest single, Say It Again. That's Tapedeck 45 here on Tapedeck Studio Podcast with their latest single, Say It Again. Now, those of you may remember, and may recall from hearing that song earlier on in the season, you'd be right. The lead singer from that band we had here as a special guest, we recorded him here in the studios, that was Sam Stewart, and it only seems fitting that we head back and remind ourselves of some of the moments we had with him earlier on in the season. So you mentioned earlier on writing, musical writing and all that sort of stuff. When it comes to your own writing, where did the influences come from?
Well, I've always been, with music, if I can relate to the song and the lyrics from an early age, that's what caught me and captivated me. Mm-hmm. If I could understand the song lyrically, I felt a deeper connection to it. So I've always tried to make my songs easy to follow and easy relatable as a kind of like, we're all going through some stuff, and if it's very specific, then you might not understand it as much. I do love a big chorus where possible, so I've always tended to drift towards bands that have that, and to try and do something different. I've always thought it's a bit of a, I don't like when people write about love songs because I feel like they're done and that's it. Like every metaphor, every analogy's been done.
It's probably one of the easiest for writing. I think in my early days when I was writing, I would just used to write about love songs, and God knows where they came from. There was no experience at all. and you just think, where the hell is this coming from?
Yeah, totally. Like I wanted to, when I started off, I didn't, like yourself, there was no girls that would speak to me. I was like, seen the nick of me back then. Even now, God. But because of that, I had to write about other things, and I think it made us a bit more easier to understand. So you can understand my songs in about 30 seconds because they're not complicated, but I feel like that's a good thing because I could go and write you this really deep song about this tree like Radiohead and the growth and the metaphor, but that wouldn't mean nothing to me. I would be better off writing a song that does mean something to me. Like, we've got a song, Sober Tonight, that I wrote about how I was driving the band around the whole time, and they were getting drunk on the rider and I was doing all the driving. I was like, hey, wait a minute, this isn't right, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing. So, and everyone could understand about when their mates are taking the mick out of them. And then people relate to, there's not really, because there's not really that many songs about you just getting your mates taking the mick out of you and you've got to go, hey, but being quite nice and not being sure about it. You've got, you know what I mean? There's not a lot of songs about these situations. And nowadays, like, with social media, we can connect better. So I feel like there should be more, instead of find me in the club, look at me all cool, I'm hitting with my beats and that's something new. You know what I mean? It's just
no, I know exactly what you mean.
Bassline, drums, let's sing about being cool and sound cool, and then we'll get the lassie singer in the third verse and the male singer to come and feature, and then at the end we'll have like two harmonies and it'll sound massive and it'll build up and it's all just the same. Whereas like, why can we not write, you know what I mean? Write about how the fact that, you know, Netflix is going up. I've now got to make a choice. I mean, you know, I'd like to write a song about Netflix going up and not being able to, you know, having to choose between Amazon and Netflix. You know, that's a decision, and that's a song I could see people listening to.
Yeah, they'll definitely relate to that. Yeah. There's a wee clip there of Sam Stewart when we had him for a fantastic interview here in the Drumbeg Studios. That was the 5th show of this season. And it's incredible to hear him talking about his great music styles that he has when he comes to writing his songs, and you can hear that in the Tapedeck 45 track that we just heard there as well. Now, I want to take you guys back to the start of this incredible season where I got the amazing opportunity to speak to one of Dundee Rep's ensemble actors, Ewan Donald. We pick up the conversation just at the point where he gets the job opportunity to start his career at the Rep.
I got an audition for Dundee Rep graduate scheme.
Well done, yeah.
And then I came here for a year, which was, I could say I loved drama school, and I learned a lot, and more like it was socially a lot of fun.
Okay.
You know, but I think I learned more here.
Right.
Just doing it. Because you learn kind of, you know, the voice class and this class, but actually doing it with professional actors.
You're learning on the job, aren't you? Yeah.
And you're learning really quick, and I think that was a great platform for any actor to get, and just to get work and get paid for it.
Exactly. You get thrown at the deep end, and as you said, you learn so much from it.
Yeah, and you're a working actor now. That's what they train you to be.
Yes.
You're a working actor, and you know, you do 5 plays or whatever, and you just think, that's it, I'm on my way now.
Yeah.
So that was really I was really fortunate, I think, to do that. And my kind of and incidentally enough, just a wee quick story, I got my very first job here was Macbeth.
Right.
That Barry Hunter was in.
Mm-hmm.
He played Banquo and I played Malcolm, and I got absolutely panned by the critics.
Oh,
very first professional job by like 3 different critics, and I remember Dominic Hill, who was artistic director at the time, along with James Brining. He pulled me into his office and said, look, you probably read the reviews, and I was like, yeah, look, you can do 1 or 2 things. You can let it affect you, you know, you can get really depressed and down about it. You can just stick 2 fingers up and go, you know what, where do I go from here? I can only go up from here because I'm right at the bottom here, you know. And it was, I was so happy that he said that to me, because after that I'm kind of like bulletproof, I think, you know. And that was my first show, so after that I couldn't care less what people thought of me, you know.
No, exactly, yeah.
And I think so it was actually, I'm glad it happened, you know, because I don't really pay much attention to them, to be honest, you know. And I'm not just saying that to be, it's like not sour grapes in, but I was like, I'm glad it happened, because it actually eventually gave me more confidence.
Exactly.
Weirdly, because I was like, no, that's, you know, it's one person's viewpoint. And I knew that I had to work on stuff that they mentioned. You know, it was things to do with my voice and that. So, but Dominic, he helped me get past that. And I think it's important because it could have crushed my confidence. And I could have just went away and went, but I thought it was like...
You could have done and started the football dream again.
Yeah, and went back to the football.
We're going to take a bit of a break now for some music, but we will return with our best of bits from this season 2. This is Fraser McLean with Gone.
I wish you could have helped me understand everything that you've been feeling. I wanna know what's on your mind. I wish we had more time. And every photo that I look at, and every memory that we spend, I really should stop to look back, but it only makes me more upset. And every single day I think about you, trying hard to get you off my mind. But I don't think I'll ever move on from this love we've left behind.
I should have said how I was feeling, but that was hard for me to do, 'cause I never wanted to hurt you with what I had to do. It was never my intention to bring this to an end, but there never is a good time to let you all know when. And every single day I think about you, trying hard to get you off my mind, but I don't think I'll ever move on from this love we left behind. And every single minute of this hour, and every single second that we spend, trying so hard to forget about you, but it's the one thing in my head. And now you're gone, I realize how much you meant to me.
And it's been so long for me to hold these broken memories.
And every single day I think about you, trying hard to get you off my mind, but I don't think I'll ever move on from this love we left behind. And every single minute of this hour, and every single second that we spend, trying so hard to forget about you, but it's the one thing in my head.
That was Fraser McLean with Gone here on Drumbeg Studio Podcast, featuring Leah Campbell on vocals as well. Fraser is an electric pop singer-songwriter who originally wrote a lot of songs on guitar but has more recently developed into the pop scene using samples and keys on his tracks as well, as we can hear there in Gone. I must mention you can find the full song of that up on the digital media platforms of today, including Spotify, along with his latest and all the other music that he has up on there as well. Many thanks, Fraser, for letting me play that song. I hope it's going down well with your fans. Now, I want to take you guys back to week 7 of this season 2 of our podcast show, where we got the incredible opportunity to speak to artist and singer-songwriter Molly Hall. We pick up the conversation at the point when she was telling us about the incredible experience she had playing at Party at the Palace. Let's talk about your performance at the Party at the Palace, shall we? That must have been, inverted commas, some incredible experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fab. We had this, I think it was built, our dressing room was one of these like makeshift building sort of things. So you like, it was like a built up
pop-up
thing.
Yeah.
But it was so weird because it was the charlatans dressing room that we got to use, but then they like changed the thing over. It was so funny because we still had the artist passes, so when we got out of the dressing room, because there was obviously a time that once we'd finished we'd get all our stuff and get our kit out, but we were walking back to get food, and the charlatans just like opened the door to the dressing room we were in, and I was like, that's so weird. I sat on the same couch. And then like we stole one of the towels because there was like a special like there was like a table with like drinks and stuff inside the dressing room, and then there was like towels and everything, and we stole the towels. That was great. And then the artist passes, they actually worked for the day after, so when we went to see Tommy Maguire and the Brass Holes, was our favourite brass band. It's so good. Yeah, so we got to use them and get to the front, so that was brilliant. And the passes were brilliant because we could go, there's free food and drink in like the big tent, and then you could go through like the barrier to the main stage. So
wow, so you were...
Afterwards, like Katie Tunstall and stuff were just there, and I was like, hi. It was very weird. I felt like, you feel like a normal public member, you don't, because it was weird singing there. Mm-hmm. And then still be able to stand there and be like, hi Katie.
Yes. Well, I mean, just even going back to when you initially got the confirmation that it was going to happen, you must have been...
That was so
must have been hard
weird.
to keep you down on the ground, yeah?
I actually came about because Finn was going with his dad, I think, initially. Yeah, he was going with his dad because he'd gone before, and he said, do you want to come? And I was like, I don't have any money. I don't really want to go because tickets were like 40 odd quid or something for the day. Mm-hmm. So I was like, no, I don't have any money. And then he jokingly said, if you play, you wouldn't have to pay to go. And then I was like, fair enough. So I messaged them on Facebook, and I was like, I sent them one of my MP3s, and I was like, have a listen, can I play? As a joke. Like, it was honestly, it's the most sarcastic message I've ever sent. I was like, yeah, let me play. And then he messaged back, and he was like, here's my email, send it over to this email. And I sent it, and then he called me, and he was like, we want you to play on the main stage on like Saturday. So I was standing backstage with my wee in-ears in and my mic. I was like, this is weird. And my granny was even more nervous than I was. She had her jacket hood over the front of her head. She was like, I'm so nervous. And I was like, don't be nervous, I'm not nervous.
There you go. That was a small clip from the incredible interview that we did here in the Drumbeg studios with Molly Hall. The incredible opportunity that she got to play at a party at the Palace was just amazing to listen to, and such an incredible opportunity for an up-and-coming artist like herself. Now, we're going to take a wee step back to week 4 of the second season of our podcast show, where we got the incredible opportunity to interview actress Emily Winter, who is part of the Dundee Rep Ensemble. We joined the conversation at the point where she has just found out her first job and nearly found out the opportunity that she's going to get to starting at Dundee Rep Theatre.
I got my first job, I recall, working at the Mitchell Library Theatre, and it was a crazy experience because I for some reason, I got offered a job as wardrobe assistant on a Christmas show, having never been a wardrobe assistant in my life. And I worked on that show. It was Peter Pan. And the girl who was the wardrobe mistress, I soon discovered had never been a wardrobe mistress in her life. The two of us became firm friends through this. We ran this show, and I've never worked so hard in my life because the Mitchell doesn't have a laundry. So we had to go around to the Kings to do the laundry in the morning before they would come in. Then we'd had to do all the ironing, and then we had to maintain all the costumes. Neither of us knew how to even thread a sewing machine. So we were doing it all by hand. Wow. And then we were dressers on the show, so obviously 2 shows a day. So we weren't finishing till late at night, when we then had to go around and collect all the dirty washing to start again the next day. So that was my introduction to working life in the theatre in Scotland.
A lot different to maybe what it is now.
Yes. Still work long hours, not quite as long as that. But yeah.
So at what point then did you join the Dundee Rep Ensemble?
I joined the ensemble at the beginning of the ensemble.
Wow. So
Hamish Glenn was putting together an ensemble. The word had gone out onto the street, and it was very exciting. And I was pregnant at the time when I heard about it. And I was at that point where I was wondering how I was going to survive, as a mother and a freelance actor. So the idea of a job, which at the time was a 3-year contract, just sounded absolutely perfect. So I managed to I went to there was a show at the Sits at the time that Hamish had directed, and I went along to see it and schmoozed a bit and told him that I was interested. And I was lucky enough to be offered a part.
Yeah. With Dundee Rep celebrating its 80th birthday. Yeah, there must be some incredible memories that you have to look back on.
Yeah, I've got a ton of wonderful memories. Gosh, I suppose the strongest memories are of, you know, the crazy times when Lewis was little and sleeping in dressing room 1 because I didn't have any childcare for him for a little while. And so this is my son. So when he was about 3, 4 maybe, he slept for a while in dressing room 1, and we had posters on the wall for him, and we had a video recorder set up. And I would go in, and he would run around the auditorium while we were warming up for a show,
right, in
his PJs, and then I would go in and clean his teeth and read him his nighttime story in full costume and makeup, whatever show we were doing at the time, and then put on a film for him to watch and just pray to God that it would keep him entertained. I mean, to be fair, ushers and front of house staff and actors that weren't on stage at that time always kept an eye out and popped in to see if he was okay. There was one instance during Flora the Red Menace when the film stopped and he got up and walked out and actually came through down the vom towards the stage saying, "Mom, the film's finished." Luckily, I don't think anybody from the audience heard him, and Nils, who was watching from the wings, raced round and managed to grab him and get him back into his room and put another film on for him.
God.
Now, you'll be pleased to hear that he's not damaged by these experiences, other than damaged insofar as he's now training to do musical theatre.
Wow.
He's about to go into his 3rd year, so there was never any real hope for him to be going into any other profession.
Yeah, with a story like that, you've got to live it through, haven't you? You've got to stand up to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. That was a wee clip that we had from the incredible interview that we did with actress Emily Winter, part of the Dundee Rep ensemble. We're going to take a bit of a break now for the last part of music for this show today. The last piece of music for this season 2. Oh no. Don't cry, please. We will be returning with the last clip for this best of season 2, and it is a cracking wee story that we've got for you. This is Katie Bills with Played.
Actions speak louder than words they say, but that doesn't mean you should stop talking to me. Keep talking, speak up, I am listening, but there's silence, just silence. Now I'm feeling guilty, it's obviously hard for you to pause, step back and see how this fun game you're playing could be affecting me. I'm not just a set of strings you get to tune so carefully. I was an instrument in your hands. You picked me up and you played me. So here you go. Think it's time you know just what I can do. Where has this woman been? The truth is he's had the key and he's locked her in. McLean, you know what I'm thinking. Try know what I'm thinking when I don't have to think about you. People ask me, am I okay? They worry if I don't hurry. All the boys will run away. People ask me, am I okay? They worry if I don't hurry. truth is, she's had the key, but she don't need no door to fit it in. She's playing and tuning all the strings by herself. Now he's just another book on her shelf.
That's Katie Bills with Played here on Drumbeg Studio Podcast. Katie is a singer-songwriter from Edinburgh. She's currently studying music down in Leeds and has been writing and arranging her own music since a very young age. Her singer-songwriting style has also incorporated elements of folk and pop along with many other genres along the way. She loves a good harmony, as you can tell from that track Played, and you can find the full song of Played up on all the digital media platforms of today, including Spotify, and she released that on an EP called Sunken Thoughts on the 29th of March last year. I want to say, Katie, all the best with your future. Hope this is going down well with your fans, and many thanks for letting me play that song on my show. Now we've almost come to the end of this incredible looking back and incredible greatest hits of this season 2 show, and we couldn't have the greatest hits of the season 2 without this final incredible story by one of the graduate actors from Dundee Rep. This is an incredible story by Bailey Newsome about a sword.
This summer I went to my friend was doing a show in York. It's like a little kids show, and we went, and this is a ridiculous story, but we went and we saw it. So we got the train at like 6 a.m. The show was at like 10:30. It was this brilliant theatre, which I think is now no longer happening. It was called the Shakespeare Rose Theatre,
right? And
it was like a pop-up like Shakespeare's Globe. So they would go to a new city like every summer, and they would build this globe, and they would put on 4 Shakespeare plays, and it was fantastic. And I think sadly it's no longer a thing due to cuts or just budget. I don't know exactly, but it's a real shame. But he was doing like a little kids show there. It was like a little kids Shakespeare show, and it was brilliant. It was really, really good, a lot of fun. So it was at 10:30, so we had to get there quite early. And after that we went round York, and it's a beautiful place, so nice. We went on a wee boat ride, which was great. I love boats now, that's my thing. I'm really into boats. Never going to buy one, never going to have the money to buy one, but I like boats. So we're going up and down there, and then we were just having a lovely time, having pints in the sun and stuff. And we were just having fish and chips and a couple more beers, and then we looked across the road, and there was this place called the it was like York Armoury or something like that. I don't really know. And a bit of context, the week before I just watched, and so my other friend, we just watched Lord of the Rings all the way through again. So we were on that kind of train, and we went into, we just thought, we were little.
Have a wee nosy around.
Yeah, we were a little bit. We did a couple of drinks, and we went into the shop, and we were like, "Will we buy one of the swords?" They're swords, but they're not going to like cut anyone's head off. But they're swords. They're swords that they're selling. And we were like, "Yeah, this is a great idea. Obviously, let's do it." So we went up to these guys with, it was like Aragorn's sword. So we wanted Gandalf's, but it wasn't. So we got Aragorn's sword. Showed up, and the guys were like, "I'm gonna have to ask for some ID." And we were like, "Oh yeah, of course." So we ID'd us for this sword, and it was just ridiculous. And I was like, also we were obviously we did a couple, and he was, we should not be selling as a weapon, but he did, and we walked out the shop with it. We'd split it 3 ways, and we went back to his house, and we started like cutting up apples with it and stuff, and it was sharp. It was like, it's all on video as well. It was just like tossing the apple and like, and it just glides right through it. It's absolutely ridiculous. The sword is currently still in his house, where it probably should remain, but yeah, that's how I bought a sword in York. I don't know how I could go into it.
Well, there you go. That was a small clip that we took from one of the interviews that we did with one of the graduate actors from Dundee Rep Theatre, Bailey Newsome, where he headed down to York to buy this sword, and I just think that is just the wee gem that we needed to finish off this incredible show. Many thanks for listening for this whole season, this second season. Many thanks for listening from the start, when we started way back in March for the first season as well. It's been incredible. A big thank you to all my special guests from this season. We've had some incredible guests on, incredible stories, incredible laughs. It's been really, really good. Also, big thanks to all the artists who gave the time to let me have their music and play some of their tunes on my show as well. Help publicise them as well. I want to wish them all the best for the future, and many thanks again for letting me play your songs on my show. My final thanks goes out to you guys as the listeners for tuning in every second week since September for this second season. It's been incredible. I want to thank you guys. The numbers are going up, the views, every time people are talking about it, they're sharing about it. It's incredible. Many thanks for if you are sharing it, and if you're not, you can always be doing that now. I am unsure as to what the future will hold for me and the show. There is no work as of yet for a third season, but fingers crossed there could be. Stay tuned on drumbegstudios.com, on my website, on my Facebook page, Drumbeg Studios. Send us a message on there or drop us an email, drumbegstudios@gmail.com. The best way to stay in touch and always get notified is to click the subscribe button on our Drumbeg Studios YouTube channel. Do that now, and you'll always get notified when we upload a new video and when the next show could come out. Until then, many thanks to everyone. All the best with your 2020. See ya!